Hello, I'm Kevin Lerner of the presentation team, and for the past few weeks we've been working with management at Venn Strategies to develop an amazing PowerPoint template. Technically, this is a PowerPoint theme, and over the next 15 minutes we're going to give you an overview of this PowerPoint template theme, show you how to work it, show you how it can make your presentations more dynamic, easier, more professional, and stick within the Venn Strategies brand. First, I want to hit on what is this template all about. Really, it's more than just a template. The template includes layouts, fonts, and colors. And really, when we get this presentation template, you open it up and you say, hey, here's this PowerPoint template. If I click on it, it opens up a brand new unnamed PowerPoint file, and one slide is in there, and we've got the ability within this one slide to say, hey, let me choose any one of these 40 or so pre-designed layouts. That's what we've got here when you pick a new slide. It's really a layout. Maybe I want one of these title on the left slides, so I can go here. Maybe I say I want a new slide that's got a photo on the left and text on the right, and all we need to do is click here and add the photo. And then perhaps we can go down here and then say, hey, I want some of these numbered text elements. So all of these preset, pre-designed layouts for your presentation slides are already in here. Maybe you say this is not the one I want, and we click up here on the layout setting, and we can easily change this to an inset photo here on the right, text on the left, and some of the layouts are even labeled as to what they're all about. So changing the layouts, very simple and straightforward. And if we go here to really look under the hood, if you will, of these layouts, we can go to the slide master. I say view slide master, and these are where all the slide layouts were created. They all started with this original. This is called the slide master, and the slide master is also comprised, as we said, of some preset colors and fonts. The colors that we have here, a lot of people might say it's just blue. Yes, it is just blue. It was not really meant to be filled with greens or reds or oranges. This is really a conservative look. It's reflecting the conservative brand of Venn, and very different shades of blue. The different shades can really bring in a lot of different emotions and impact, and really very easy to discern. So it's going to give your presentations a whole lot more of a professional look than a garish color thrown on there. We also have a body font and a title font already set up here. They're identical. The title font is all capitalized. The body font, the same font, Twin Century MT, is out there, and it's lowercase. So everything is in place and pre-designed for you, and with just a little bit of tinkering around with this, you'll see that it's a whole lot easier than just saying, let me create a blank slide and start drawing on it wherever I want my text. That's what this is designed to do, to give you placeholders, pre-positioned areas for you to drop your text and your graphics, and it's going to make your presentations a whole lot more fluid and easier to work with. We've also created a slide and icon library. What does this mean? It means your work is going to be a whole lot easier because you've got a whole lot of slides all ready to pick from. If we go to the File Explorer and we click on this file, you're going to see a file of, it's a 235 megabyte file, but it's got 135 slides in it, all ready for you to use. Just looking at this high-level slide sorter view, you've got some slides here with graphics, you've got some title slides, you've got some pre-colored slides. We can click right down here and see that we've got a couple of charts and graphs all ready to go. We're going to dive in a little bit deeper and show you what this is all about. The main part here is that if you see something that you like, if I scroll back up here and I say, hey, I love this graphic because we've got a lot of Washington, D.C. oriented images, we can copy this and paste it right into that new presentation. So just a matter of copy and paste whatever you want, and there's no need to go hunting for photos because so many of them are already here. So that's the slide library, which again is just a compilation of different graphics and preset slides. The last three slides in this deck, on pages 133 through 135, are icons. And any one of these icons can be copied and pasted into your presentation for a nice contemporary look and feel. Maybe you want to talk about somebody who's working against the clock and needing to pay attention to time. So you copy and paste this one. Or perhaps you want to deal with a business deal. You copy and then you paste this one, and then you can enlarge it to your presentation slide however you want, like that. We already have a couple of these slides already produced here on page 132 to show you a process that's using some icons, talking about statistics and email communication, the date and time, and delivery and transport. So this is really an example of how to use some of these icons within your presentation, smart art together with your icons placed here, and then you would have certainly type in whatever you want over here. The second page of icons, some action and movement icons, and the third one related to documents, just copy and paste, a number of different icons related to documents and legal paperwork. So we have a lot of other sources to get icons from. We'll share with those in a little bit. Inserting new slides. Pretty simple, but there are a lot of different ways that you can do it. Let's go back to this brand new PowerPoint. We've already got one slide already set up here. A lot of people can say, hey, let's just click on the new slide and there's a title and content slide, or maybe you want to say, let's go with a new slide and put your photo here at the top and the text at the bottom. Of course, when you want to add a photo, it's a simple matter of just clicking here and then finding a photo that's appropriate. Maybe we want to find, and be careful that you pick photos that are aspect ratio relevant. We know that's a kind of a wide place to put a photo, so we really want to go with something like this airplane that's going across the sky, and then you could type right over here. And maybe we want to change this. Maybe I don't want that airplane and typed over there. I want to change the layout. I can say, let me pick this with the text on the top and the slide at the bottom. So that's the glory of it. Right now I'm just picking up here with the button that says layout, and maybe I want to put it on the left and the right, and I could also right click and say layout, and so the right click button is also very effective in positioning some of these slides and graphics. So lots of different ways that you can place these graphics. They're all set with the layouts. Let's talk about adjusting the images. What if you bring in a graphic like we did and it just doesn't fit? Like this airplane over here is just cropped off. So if you double click on the photo, you're going to get a whole different ribbon. That's what these items are called up here, the ribbon. We've got on the far right the crop ribbon. So if you click here, you're actually going to see the full width and dimensions of the photo. And I'm just simply able to click on the part off of the main photo, the gray area, to move it around. And actually just any place over here. I'm also able to grab any one of the handles at the top or left or right and really scale it to whatever size I need. So if you hold it from the corner, it will scale, and if you hold the shift key down, keep that in mind, if you hold the shift key down, it will scale proportionally. But if I don't hold the shift key down, you'll be scaling the photo to a disproportionate width and height. So you got to be careful to hold the shift key down when scaling the height, and that's how you really want to keep it like this. But really it's best to try to crop and size these photos to the actual size to fit within the box in the layout. So again, we're just going to go up here, make sure that these gray areas extend within the size of the layout position, and that's a perfect place. The next effect is blurring. If I click on this photo, we're going to get on the ribbon bar all of these different features and effects under artistic effects. If I click the second row far to the right, we have blur, and if I click on the blur, this is great because it will allow a background image to not compete with the text. And so you're easier able to read the text. If I click here again and say, let me look at these artistic effects, under this item here, under the far bottom of all of these artistic effects, a panel will open in PowerPoint that has the ability to control the artistic effects. There they are again, but we're able to control the radius, the intensity of the blur. So anything from 0 to 100, I believe. And it's a real nice way of just getting an artistry with it. We also have the ability to change the color of any photo that's been brought in. Here's our airplane photo as it normally appears. If I want to say, let's take a different color, I click here on the color setting, and then we can roll over. We can see a sepia color, a very washed out color. I'm going to choose this dark blue accent color over here. Then we can combine it with a nice blur effect, and suddenly the photo has a whole new image and appearance. No need for you to go into Photoshop and make this happen. It's all very simple right here in PowerPoint. Here's an example of how we're using the color setting on one of our slides in the pre-existing deck. On slide 72, we've got a photo that's been set to blue. of the key bridge. First of all, this is a photo that's not been imported. This is technically a photo that has been set as a formatted background. We inserted it. This gives you the ability to really put items on top of it without moving the graphic or getting into trouble with the graphic running over the page. So setting the background as an image is a much more effective way than just importing an image and sending it to the back. And that's what we've done on a lot of these slides. But getting back to the color here, if I click on the Format Backgrounds setting, we're going to get all of these different settings. We notice that this is set to recolor, and already this recolor setting is selected. Blue-gray. If I click on the reset button, this is what this slide looks without that. So we really have just taken this, put these into the preset deck, set it to blue, and suddenly everything just has a real nice austere look to it. Photo filter blocks. This is a style of designing a graphic and changing the color. When I first saw it, I didn't really understand why people would do things this way, but it really is quite unique and clever in its way of altering a graphic to a specific color. We showed you already how to change the color within PowerPoint. This style is really using a preset block, a circle, a square, and setting the transparency to 40%. So let's take this gray block and then copy it to our existing graphic of the airplane over here. I paste it in here. You notice that's already changing the background graphic, and I can say, hey, let me move this around. Let me move this down here, and it just sort of mutes the graphic out in a different kind of style than we would get with changing the color of the graphic. I can change the color of the block. I can say, hey, let's make it a teal color. Let's make it even less transparent. And so it really mutes the image effectively. We have a couple of slides that are already in use. We've got a few of them already here with a red filter block, the orange filter block, cyan, and you can notice this graphic over here is already using the image just placed on top of one of the monuments that helps change the color of it. So very effective in that regard. Basically what we're saying over here is on this slide here, the red photo filter slide, the graphic is already here. It's a red image, and all I need to do is say, hey, let's change the picture or the texture. Say I want to insert a picture. I'm going to choose this background, and here we've got a photo of a handshake against a globe, and basically if you pull this filter away, that's the image that you get. And now we're going to talk about bullets. 3 different types of bullets in this presentation. We've got the automatic, the graphic, and the pre-numbered. What do we mean by this? Well, for the first level, we've got automatic bullets, like most people would see in their presentation, square or circular bullets. On the first level, we have no bullets. This is really great if you have a big paragraph of text. It doesn't need to have a bullet there. My philosophy is if you've only got one item to say, there's no need to bullet it. Bullets differentiate items. Point number 2 is a square teal colored bullet, and bullet number 3 is a gray colored bullet. Notice that the levels are fundamentally the same text size. Now getting in here, if we go here, if you want to change these bullets, there are a couple of different ways of doing it. Up here on the ribbon, we've got the increase the list level. You push it to the right and the bullets move in. You really don't want to go anything beyond level 3. It's really designed for that. And so forward and back, left and right. And we also have on level 3 over here, we've got the ability to, on any of the levels, to really press the tab button and shift tab. So click on the ribbon, click on the tab button keyboard, and you're indenting your bullets. So that's the way to do it. Just tab, 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 shift tab, or use this icon up here. The next type of bullets that we have are graphical bullets. On level 2, we started working with some bullets that are in the Venn strategies icon, and we said, well, let's leave this up to the user if they want to do this. It looks really nice, but it doesn't always print all that terrifically. So really the way we've done it is to make it into a graphic and assign it as a bullet. So the way this is done, let's do it right now. Let's duplicate this page right here, and we're going to make this now auto bullet. I'm going to change the size, the name of it, and we're going to call it graphic test. And we're going to take level 2. I'm going to right click and say bullets, and this is where we get those bullets. If we say bullets and numbering, we've got all these different styles and the colors that are set here. I say picture, and from a file on the computer, it's going to load up right over here in our file for the raw content, and we're just going to choose this bullet 150, and then that's how it appears. We put a little bit of an indent in there, or we can change the size, and that's really how we did that. You can basically put any image as a bullet point, but really try to be conservative with this. The last type of bullet that we're working with are pre-designed graphics that are freestanding that differentiate blocks of text. On slide 99 of the pre-designed group of slides, we have graphics that are differentiating these bullet points that are text points here, and we can just change the item, the number within them. We can move them around, and in this case it's a really nice, clever way of differentiating your items. And in this case we've got color variations of dark blue and light blue. So those are some points on bullets and how to make them, and be conservative with them and be creative at the same time. And now talking about graphics and layouts. We have a few sections we're going to hit on here. We're going to talk about how to work with regular shapes, pre-designed shapes, smart art, work with your text boxes, and how to create great graphics from items just on the web. Let's start with looking at what we've got as shapes. So we've already got a number of slides that have already been pre-designed here in the Venn Strategies presentation. We're looking at, say, page 87 of the timeline. This is one of these items that's pre-designed. You can move these items around. You can change the text around. So these are some shapes that have already been created and very flexible. We have the text and the graphic together, so be careful to move the text with the shape by holding down Shift or Control to click on both of them, and then just simply move them again by holding Shift down while moving the mouse. It will keep it constrained left or right. We've got it just like that. And it might also be good to make this text black. We could always do that. Click on the text black key. So a lot of these pre-designed pages, you just type in whatever you want and it'll modify it. A couple of other pages that we've got here, circle diagram. Maybe this is relevant to some of the projects you're working on, and easy to adapt in any way. Try to keep it within these colors. This is really what we're trying to do here. Keywords that are related are emphasized in bold type, and just type in the title, and all you've got is ready to go. And this slide analyzing the problem on page 111 of the pre-designed set, and everything is already here for you to just type in whatever might be relevant. And let's talk about drawing your own shapes. Well, there are a number of ways that you could do that, and certainly we said copying your own items. We also have this set of graphics up here. These are pre-designed graphics. You're able to go in and draw a square, and maybe you want to draw a circle. We're able to do that, again, by holding if you don't hold the Shift key down, the circle goes in any dimension, but when you hold Shift down, it is proportionate. The same with the square. And we've got a number of these different items here. Sometimes this item is great. So these are great either for flowcharts or differentiating different items here. And you can certainly just start typing and type within your shape and move it around. By holding the Control key down and Shift at the same time, we're able to duplicate the item. If you hold Control and Shift down while you got both of them, here we've suddenly got 4 different items. A nice way to work with graphics that are just right up here in the ribbon. You've got arrows, flowchart items, not a whole huge collection, but enough to make your presentations really look terrific. Now, another type of image that we work with in PowerPoint is called Smart Art. It came into use a few years ago. Here's an example of what Smart Art is. In the past, you needed to create these graphics like we were just doing and draw them out one by one. In this case, if I click on this, we see a list of items, step 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's already created for us. We could also, in Smart Art, change the colors around, change the formatting around. We could pick different colors and say maybe we want something that's a little bit more gray, maybe we want something black and white over here. So again, keep in mind with the conservatism, these colors are here because we want to maintain Venn's color theme. Another thing that we can do with Smart Art, if we want to change it, we're able to double click on the Smart Art, and we've got a number of other different layouts here. So maybe we want to change this into an actual sort of circle diagram, step 1, 2, 3, and 4. So play around with it. This really is a lot of fun and makes PowerPoint pretty quick and easy to work with. We have actually made the text as freestanding text items rather than putting the text inside the Smart Art in this purpose, but a lot of times you can have supporting text within it. So let's start with creating your own smart art. A couple of different ways of doing that. Certainly you can just go up here and say, hey, let me insert some smart art right over here. And that's one way. You also have the ability within this item, this little far upper right block will give you a smart art graphic, and you're able to pick and choose whatever you want. Let's do a process diagram, and we say 1, 2, 3. You could type over here, or you could type within the box. The font size automatically changes. We're able to pick the style. We're even able to give it a 3D look. Don't really do that very often. And again, let's just modify it to maybe be a different color like this. Go back to something fairly conservative. And there you go. It's pretty easy to work with. And if you need to break it apart, if you need to say, hey, I need to move these items around, you can click on the convert button, convert to shapes, and then we're able to move the smart art items around, and they're no longer smart, they're just graphics, etc. We also have the ability to create smart art from text that we either type in or copy in from another source. Let's take an example by looking on Venn's homepage, and I've got this group of text here. It's actually 2 sentences, but I'm going to treat it as 3. I'm going to say copy and go back to PowerPoint and paste it in here. And this would be a standard bullet point. Most people would say, hey, again, if we want to indent and make it into a bulleted sentence, all I need to do is press the indent button and everything is here. Now if I want to create this into smart art, it's a simple matter of selecting this, right-clicking, and say convert to smart art. The whole list again shows up, and we're able to work with it over here. Just simply getting these blocks of bullets into 3 blocks makes it a whole lot visually easier on the eyes, and we can pick the different colors that we want and even size it accordingly. So that's really how to work with text that may already be in there that you want to work with in smart art. A real creative way and clean way of displaying text and fonts. Okay, we've already showed you a number of ways of inserting text into the presentation, but there are a lot of other ways as well. So we've got some pre-designed text settings and pre-designed layouts. Here's one of them. If you go back to the Venn slides, you can see already these places that have text already dropped in. All you need to do is kind of go in here and move the text around however you need to, change it however you want, and just copy and paste into your presentation. That's one way of doing it. We also have the ability to create a brand new slide with layouts that have your text in various positions. We showed this earlier on. Here it is a little bit more in detail. We click on new slide, and here's our text on the left side. I can now change the layout, and I can move this. It already tells me where it is. My text is 2/3 of the size on the right side. That's what that means, filling 2/3 of the page on the right. I can say text right. And perhaps I want to move this text to the left side. I can certainly move it like this. That's what a lot of people would do, but we've got the layout already to do that. Just click layout, and maybe we want to say text 2/3 on the left and photo on the right. And all I just have to do is type it in, text left. It's not that intelligent to change the name of your text block, but that's just one way of doing it. So these pre-designed layouts are going to really help create the text that you want, rather than just having to go in and say, hey, let me draw a text box and start typing. Stuff from the web. Let's talk about where you can get some of these graphics that are out there. There are a number of different sites. The first one we can start with is Google. That's where a lot of people get their images from. Maybe we want to type in legislation, and we'll come up with a lot of different graphics. One of the concerns that you have to be careful of here is that they're going to be either low resolution. We say copy the image, and then we paste it back into the presentation, and you paste it back in. So you have to be careful about items that are either low resolution, but more than that, there are copyright concerns. So we really want to be careful with picking somebody else's graphics. Look at some of these sites here. This is the Shutterstock site. If you type in legislation, these are some of the graphics that you can get. Pretty economical. Download these, and maybe the company already has an account set up. We've got Deposit Photos. These are a little bit more artistic in some ways, with icons, with graphics, creative ways of displaying the information. iStock by Getty Images is one of the leading and original sites out there for graphics, and quite impressive in its creative scale. Envato and their Graphic River brand, it has a whole lot of different icons, graphics, and creative stuff. Just take a look. Maybe you'll find the one that resonates with you. Another different website is Brands of the World. If you ever need to find a logo for a company, this is the place to do it. And as we mentioned, a lot of other sites out there. If you just Google stock photos, you'll get a whole list of them. Some of them are free. The ones that are free are not as good, but the prices are fairly economical, and maybe you'll find one that resonates with you. Because Venn Strategies deals with so much data, information, charts, analytics, we need to look great, and therefore we've created some pre-existing graphs and charts that you can work with and modify, and we're going to show you some new ways to create great looking graphs really efficiently. Let's first start with one of these existing graphics, and all you need to do is go in and change the numbers around and it's going to be perfect for you. So here's a sample chart. The information is there. It even animates in. On this one, here's got analysis 1. On this line graphic chart, everything is preset and animated. This is coming from page 117 of the sample deck. And here's another chart example. So this is really a nice way. All you need to do is go in here and double click and say, hey, let me click on the graphic, and out comes this. We're able to change the color around, but really what you want to do is really just go in and say, hey, let me edit the data, and this is how it shows up, and you're able to change things around, and it's going to show up perfectly in your presentation. So these are some pre-designed charts, samples that are already there. But now let's talk about how to create a brand new chart or graph. And on this brand new page here, basically we have a template that is essentially title only. We're really not having a whole lot of layouts to keep your charts on your left or your right. This is really what you want to do is just keep the whole page open, and we want to say, hey, let's insert a chart. And we've got, in this case, a couple of different column charts, etc. Maybe a pie chart. Let's do this. We double click on the pie chart, or we just simply say OK. And it pops right into place with the preset colors of Venn, and all you need to do really is go in here and change the data around. We can go in here also, and just like you would modify regular text, we want it to make it white, we want to make it larger, and either keep the title the same at the top or delete it all together, because a lot of times you might want to have the title actually part of the graphic here, analytics, and then delete this item here at the top. And so that's how it'll be. So it's really simple to create a chart. Again, once you've created this, you basically go in there and modify it however you want. There really should be some consistency to the way that you're creating these charts and tables, but we'll figure that out later. But for the most part, because we've set up the colors, notice how everything is not very garish. They all blend together. Maybe we want to take out the outlines on the shape, and that's all we need to do here is to go to shape outline, and everything just blends together. It's real simple and clean to create your own graphs and charts here in PowerPoint with these preset templates. And the last set of tips is all about printing. Sounds pretty simple, but without the right options, you can get yourself and your beautiful presentation not looking so beautiful. So we want to make sure that when we're printing, like this beautiful slide here, that we're either printing in color on a color printer or in color on a black and white printer. Basically, we want to say print. Watch what happens here on this print preview. If we say here color, it'll print color. This is a color printer. But if we say pure black and white, the background's going to disappear, and all we're going to get are lines here. So all of the graphics are gone, and the same on these following pages here. This may look okay for an internal draft, and the concept is that we want to save toner, but it's really going to eliminate a lot of the graphical flair that this whole template is designed to create. So either keep it on grayscale, which will look like this, or color, which will look like this. Color is the only way of getting the background in if there's a background image, believe it or not. So grayscale will create grayscale images, but certainly you'll want to be printing in color. If we change it now to a black and white printer, this is what it would look like if we're printing on a black and white printer. And even a black and white printer, we say change it to color, and now it's previewing in black and white. So a little bit of trial and error to figure out how this happens, and this is basically what's going to happen. Notice here a black and white printer, our printer ink is still printing grayscale. That's why we might want to really turn this off and just say give me grayscale on this. So it really comes down to what you want to do, how you want to print it, and hopefully you might just want to share it digitally as a PDF file. In order to do that, We can say here under File, we could either save as a PDF or we can say, let me go print. A lot of people who have PDF installed, we can say Adobe PDF and the same options appear. And then you just say print and save it, and your presentation is ready to go as a digital file. And that's our PowerPoint training for Venn strategies. Pleased to have been a part of this. I'm Kevin Lerner, and I wish you the best with your presentations. Try it out, explore the templates, explore the layouts. Feel free to duplicate slides and give different options, see which works. Ultimately, with a little bit of confidence, you'll make some great presentations that will make everybody proud.